A pyramid is a type of huge, ancient building that is a member of the class of structures known as public or monumental architecture. The archetypal pyramid, like those at Giza in Egypt, is a mass of stone or earth with a rectangular base and four steeply sloping sides that meet in a point at the top. But pyramids come in many different forms. Some are round or oval or rectangular at the base, and they can be smooth-sided or stepped or truncated with a flat platform topped by a temple. Pyramids, more or less, are not buildings that people walk into, but rather huge monolithic structures meant to make people awestruck. The early pyramids. From the beginning of the dynastic era, 2950 BC, royal tombs were carved into rock and covered with flat-roofed rectangular structures known as mastabas, which were precursors to the pyramids. The oldest known pyramid in Egypt was built around 2630 BC at Saqqara for the 3rd dynasty's king Djoser. Known as the Step Pyramid, it began as a traditional mastaba, but grew into something much more ambitious. As the story goes, the pyramid's architect was Imhotep, a priest and healer who some 1,400 years later would be deified as the patron saint of scribes and physicians. Over the course of Djoser's nearly 20-year reign, pyramid builders assembled 6 stepped layers of stone, as opposed to mud brick like most earlier tombs, that eventually reached a height of 204 feet, 62 meters. It was the tallest building of its time. The step pyramid was surrounded by a complex of courtyards, temples, and shrines where Djoser could enjoy his afterlife. The Great Pyramids of Giza. No pyramids are more celebrated than the Great Pyramids of Giza, located on a plateau on the west bank of the Nile River, on the outskirts of modern-day Cairo. The oldest and largest of the 3 pyramids at Giza, known as the Great Pyramid, is the only surviving structure out of the famed 7 wonders of the ancient world. It was built for Pharaoh Khufu, Cheops in Greek, Sneferu's successor and the second of the 8 kings of the 4th dynasty. Though Khufu reigned for 23 years, 2589 to 2566 BC, relatively little is known of his reign beyond the grandeur of his pyramid. The sides of the pyramid's base average 755.75 feet, and its original height was 481.4 feet, 147 meters, making it the largest pyramid in the world. 3 small pyramids built for Khufu's queens are lined up next to the Great Pyramid, and a tomb was found nearby containing the empty sarcophagus of his mother, Queen Hetepheres. Like other pyramids, Khufu's is surrounded by rows of mastabas, where relatives or officials of the king were buried to accompany and support him in the afterlife. The Pyramid of Khafra is the 2nd tallest pyramid at Giza and contains Pharaoh Khafra's tomb. A unique feature built inside Khafra's pyramid complex was the Great Sphinx, a guardian statue carved in limestone with the head of a man and the body of a lion. It was the largest statue in the ancient world, measuring 240 feet long and 66 feet high. In the 18th dynasty, c. 1500 BC, the Great Sphinx would come to be worshipped itself as the image of a local form of the god Horus. The southernmost pyramid at Giza was built for Khafra's son Menkaura, 2532 to 2503 BC. Who built the pyramids? Though some popular versions of history held that the pyramids were built by slaves or foreigners forced into labor, skeletons excavated from the area show that the workers were probably native Egyptian agricultural laborers who worked on the pyramids during the time of year when the Nile River flooded much of the land nearby. Approximately 2.3 million blocks of stone, averaging about 2.5 tons each, had to be cut, transported, and assembled to build Khufu's Great Pyramid. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus wrote that it took 20 years to build and required the labor of 100,000 men, but later archaeological evidence suggests that the workforce might actually have been around 20,000. The end of the Pyramid era. Pyramids continued to be built throughout the 5th and 6th dynasties, but the general quality and scale of their construction declined over this period, along with the power and wealth of the kings themselves. In the later Old Kingdom pyramids, beginning with that of King Unas, 2375 to 2345 BC, pyramid builders began to inscribe written accounts of events in the king's reign on the walls of the burial chamber and the rest of the pyramid's interior. Known as pyramid texts, these are the earliest significant religious compositions known from ancient Egypt. The last of the Great Pyramid builders was Pepi II, 2278 to 2184 BC, the second king of the 6th dynasty, who came to power as a young boy and ruled for 94 years. By the time of his rule, Old Kingdom prosperity was dwindling, and the pharaoh had lost some of his quasi-divine status as the power of non-royal administrative officials grew. Pepi II's pyramid, built at Saqqara and completed some 30 years into his reign, was much shorter, 172 feet, than others of the Old Kingdom.